All right, Grandpa. When were you drafted?
I was drafted in December of 1955.
Okay. How much longer did the war go on after that?
Until July 56.
Okay. And you were sent to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Where in Japan?
Tokyo, outside of Tokyo.
Okay.
I had, before that, I had 6 weeks of, well, I'll back up a little bit. I had training down in Camp Gordon, Georgia.
That was going to be another one of my questions.
Yeah, and we took basic training down there. Then they had tests you took, and I was best suited for the Signal Corps. They had two deals that had Signal Corps and MP. The others had his way to go to school in one or the other. I was picked for the Signal Corps.
Okay.
And then we had our military basic training. Then we went into school. And we went over on this ship. It took the northern route, they said. And I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
Oh my, it just rolled and rolled and rolled. And the watertight doors that come shut, if one start leaking, they all don't flood, you know. And where we was at, they had staying, so they opened the watertight doors. And then the foghorn kept blowing and blowing, so nobody run into us. I don't know whether we were going to make it or not.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how many days that was. And finally it started clearing up over on the other end, and it got better. And
that's when you finally got to Japan?
Yeah.
What part of Japan were you in?
Well, we landed Yokohama, the big port, ship.
Yeah.
Port, Oklahoma. And I was only a few miles from there. There's a few hundred miles maybe to Tokyo. Our barracks is right outside of Tokyo, the town of Tokyo, the city, and it was next to the airport. Tachikawa was the name of the airport. And we worked out of there. We was in the Signal Corps. Back then, we wasn't allowed to tell what was going on. I had to pass one of the strictest tests that the government give to anybody. And when I come back and fellow to work with us, I said, what in the world was he doing in the service? I had a guy interview me whole afternoon, just nothing but an interview about you. And I said, well, the strictest test that the government gives you to pass.
Right.
Because the radar was new in. Just come in, just come out.
You guys slept in tents.
Well, yeah, out on the runway.
Wow.
I mean, we wasn't on the runway, but right alongside of it.
Yeah, alongside of it, yeah. And
they would take 3 of them jets out there and go down the runway. And if you went in your bunk would bounce around on the floor. That's how loud it was. That's what American hears today, probably.
Might be it, yeah.
So I stayed down there, then my time's up and shipped me home.
So how long was that then, Dad?
Well, that was like about a year down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to get ready to go while they put us on the train, took us back up to Tokyo and put us on the boat in Yokohama, the big dock. And we was 9 days going over, and I think about 8 or 9 coming back.
Right. What was your rank when you left?
Corporal.
Corporal?
Out, yeah. And I made rank real fast to Warren. Then they said there's nothing more. Won't be any more rank. And the only one that got any more rank is re-enlist. I said, I ain't doing that. So they just want to spend any money and get people out. And wars cost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
They cost you a lot of money.
Did you always want to join the military?
I never really wanted to join it.
You just had to?
Well, I knew it was coming up, and a lot of people got disadvantages or something, you know, and before, after, and so on. If you had any children, he didn't draft you. Well, I didn't want any children until I got back.
Right.
So that left me go. I had 5 brothers, my dad in before me.
Yeah.
And I was going to go too, so.
Now, you didn't have a choice. You had to go into the Army, right? Because you were drafted into the Army?
Drafted in the Army.
And the Air Force wasn't around yet, right?
Oh, yeah, the Air Force was around. But
was it?
They had volunteers.
Oh, okay.
Took care of most of it.
Because Sean was trying to tell me something yesterday about the special...
Yeah, I forgot to tell you this. When I graduated from school down there, they said, we're going to put you in this It's a special category of Army with the Air Force.
Yeah, that's what Sean was telling
So
me about.
they pulled me out of the Army and put me in this special category, and the Air Force paid me in housing and everything. I was under the Air Force.
Oh wow, okay.
And it was pretty good duty. I mean, you sit down at a table, a four-door table, and you didn't have to go down the mess hall line and stuff like that. You know, they had pretty good duty. So then when I come back and got discharged, I get back out of the scar walk in the Army, and then the Army discharged me.
We have a pretty good military history in this family. Your dad was enlisted, all your brothers, right? And
I don't think my dad enlisted. I think
he was drafted too.
I think so.
Okay, because that would have been World War One.
Yeah, George and Cecil were both enlisted.
And they were in World War II?
Yeah, and they were both in the Army. And Bob was in the Navy.
Okay.
He was the only one in the Navy, and they had to draft someone. The Navy got all our drafts, and the Air Force got all enlistments.
Okay.
But they weren't always what they wanted to, you know.
Right.
So that's the reason I went to Scarwalk. So then...
Can you explain a little bit about what each of your brothers and your dad did?
No, I don't know that much about them.
Okay.
We would go to Thanksgiving dinner or something. Nobody talks about the military.
Well,
Grandpa, what's your title at the Legion now?
Commander.
Commander? That's like the highest you can get there, right? That's pretty awesome.
But I've been down there when I retired from
Right.
work in when did I retire?
80 something.
Huh?
80 something? 70 something.
97 I retired.
Do you guys have anything planned for Veterans Day? Do you do anything on the
They
day?
call school has us down there. We just get down there and they have a program for it. They have a speaker in there and tell the kids what went on. And we take our colors down there and we sit in the first rows up front and the kids enjoy seeing us and talking to us and thank us for our service. And then they have a little lunch for us at Christmas or dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all training. And I had 6 weeks of that because I was going to be in something like it was, like a job. Jim went in, he was infantry. He went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and he had 16 weeks of basic training because he was going to be in combat. And he was. He was home, got out of basic training, was home, and had his orders to go overseas. And on his way over, my mother passed away. So we notified the Red Cross, and the Red Cross caught up to him. And they asked him if he was on orders, and he said, yes, I am. So they just turned left. They wouldn't let him.
They couldn't tell him.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have the authority to do that. They just do what they could do, and that wasn't one of them. So one of us wrote a letter. I only got our first letter that he had to find out about Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
It didn't make any difference. They just stepped on the front line.
Yeah.
I don't know who they put in command in, you know, somebody that I didn't know.
Now, Uncle George was in India, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
During the Korean War?
No, 2.
2. Okay.
George, Cecil, and Bob in World War II.
Okay.
My dad's in World War I. And Jim, Dick, and I in the Korean War.
And Grandpa rode a horse.
Cavalry, yeah. They had a lot of horses back then.
And what about your grandsons that were in the military?
Well, I try to think who went first. I think Clayton went in. He went into West Point.
Mm-hmm.
He was there for 4 years. Didn't have to get in. He wanted in the infantry.
Right.
Straight infantry. He didn't want a job, you know. So that's what he got in. And the training for that down in
9/11.
9/11 Camp Fort Knox, Kentucky. Took most of his training. I mean, he got West Point training, and they didn't do that, but that's a higher technology, and then you got to get more of your physical training down there. So he did that, and then of course they sent him over to Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Come back, and I think he went over there 3 times.
I think you're right.
And he says, as long as I'm in there, they're going to keep sending me over. So he said, I'm going to get out. So he had 4 years of
West Point.
West Point, And then he had 6 years commitment to the Army.
Yeah, and Matt joined right at the beginning of 2000, right after New Year's. He left for basic because I remember we spent I think it was March 2000 when he graduated basic because we went down there to see him in San Antonio.
Texas,
yeah,
yeah.
when it was right over Beth's 9th birthday, I think.
Mhm.
We went to see him,
Mhm.
and then he was all over the place too.
Yeah. Now he says, you think you're going to phase them drones out? Too costly.
Mm.
They always have some type of new technology.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Matt's been in almost 23 years now.
hmm
Yeah, I think maybe we'll get out of here in 25 or something like that.
And he was in Japan for a while too.
Japan,
Okinawa.
hmm
Guam, they've been around. Yeah, I don't think he's in New York much.
Not much of Europe, no.
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 He would just stop through there every once in a while or whatever, but he
Yeah,
was never
yeah,
stationed there.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
And then there's a lot of
Country.
places he couldn't tell us he's been,
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
I asked him one time if when I'm on my deathbed, if he can tell me things, and he said no.
I'm supposed to.
Well, Grandpa's still not telling us things,
That's 70 years ago I was in the service.
and he's still not saying anything.
Morse code, I went back to working Morse code. I was down in most of Morse code was down in the way. What in the world did you do in the service? And I said, well, I don't have to tell you why. You know, somebody come out there and interview me all one afternoon, whole one afternoon, just nothing but ask questions about you. And I said, well, that's the way it is.
Awesome. We good?
That about it?
Yeah, I think so.